Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Ready for Life Festival. My name is Yvonne Chan, and I'm delighted to be your host and moderator for the morning. Now, our theme for this year's festival is all about redefining retirement. Now, we believe that there is so much more to this stage of life rather than just simply unwinding after many years of work. So we're going to kick off with this opening forum, followed by a series of very interesting talks, which will allow you to gain some insights on how you can actively plan and lead a fulfilling retirement. We've also got a festival hall where we've partnered with many great companies, and they've curated some engaging activities to help you better prepare for retirement. So without further ado, let's start with our first fireside chat for this opening forum, and we're so privileged to have our guest of honor, Dr. Tan See Leng, Singapore's Minister for Manpower, share his views on retirement and what are some of the steps Singaporeans can take to achieve a secure retirement. So let's welcome Dr. Tan See Leng on stage, please. Oh, you've got kopi, so lucky. Good morning, Mr. Good to see you again. Nice to have a chat.
Thank you.
And thank you for taking the time to join us today. Minister, I have just about 20 or so minutes on the clock with you. And, we're here to talk about being ready for life and retirement. So I would like to ask you, after you have a sip of coffee, I've had mine already at 5 in the morning. But you can have yours first. Okay. I want to ask you, what does redefining retirement mean to you personally? And what kind of role will CPF play in this?
I think retirement means a lot of things to many, many people. But for myself and a group of my close friends, it doesn't mean to switch off, do nothing, stare into the sky and daydream. Actually, for many of us, particularly my contemporaries, we look forward to a different pace of life, still pretty much being able to contribute actively. In some cases, whether it is mentorship, whether it is just sharing your experiences from what you have gone through in life itself, and just adapting to a different pace. Not necessarily more leisurely, but something that you can pursue with a lot of personal satisfaction. In economics, they call it utility, high utility, and to find fulfillment. So one could say that when I hit 55, I recalled that on my 55th birthday, I went to CPF, the one at Maxwell, along Maxwell Road, I think at the side lane. So when I went in, I wanted to withdraw some money I thought that, I thought that since it's the first time I'm going to be able to withdraw, I wanted to use it for either a short holiday or just, how do you call it, just to reward myself. And actually, I met this lady, a very charming lady, who spoke to me and told me why I shouldn't be taking the money out at all.
This charming lady was from CPF?
Of course.
At the office? Oh, okay. Wasn't some random charming lady from... Okay. Please continue. I had to check, the source of that charming lady, yes.
So it's and then she told me about, how I should be planning for my retirement and so on. And actually, I was actually quite surprised and pleasantly so. In the end, she won. So I just kept the money there.
What did she say that was so convincing?
Well, she was saying that, look, you should be thinking about finding a way to improve your savings. Why don't you top it up to the ERS, because you can get higher interest. And then, by the way, if you allow it to stay on, you continue to compound. And by the time you hit 65, and you don't spend today, right, that compounding would result in a lot of money. So, you see, through her, she knows time value of money, she knows opportunity cost, and she's basically telling me that, hey, uncle, you are old, don't go and take any more risks, with your money. Because if you stay here secure, you'll be rewarded in due time.
But 55 is not upbeat lah. Really? You're still young, still young. But so, okay, you did not withdraw the money, so what did you do to reward yourself then?
I did reward myself.
Wow. That's pretty hardcore. Okay, so still touching on CPF then. In budget 2024, since I have the Minister of Manpower here, I need to ask him a bit more about budget 2024.
I must tell you that was before I joined the government. I was in private sector all my life.
Right.
Yeah, so can you imagine I have a government civil servant advising me what to do with my money? I thought that was very refreshing.
It's a great touch point, right? And your money is probably working a lot harder than it is if you had withdrawn it already. Yeah.
I've been managing my own investments all my life.
It's nice to have CPF do it for you when you weren't even thinking about it, right? So still speaking of the budget 2024, there was just so many announcements, juicy announcements that were made this year, and many of the changes were related to CPF, right? I would love to have your take on how you think some of these collective changes are actually meant to strengthen support for Singaporeans.
You know, Yvonne, our singular focus, now the last 5 years I'm serving you as a public servant. I think the singular focus for MOM, for CPF, has been to see how we can keep all of your hard-earned savings safe, continue to give you a good return, and at the same time, we do our best to ensure that you're adequately taken care of in terms of your health, have a roof over your heads, and by the time you retire, hopefully you'll be able to clear off, you don't have any housing loans, and that becomes your secure nest. And by the time you finally, whether, I'm a doctor, whether I hang up my stethoscope, hang up my lab coat, and put down my pants, I can have some form of retirement adequacy through a monthly payout, all the way until my golden years, until I move on and transition to perhaps after. So all of how we sort of think, the focus, the policies, if you look at it over the last couple of years, have been looking at different segments of the population to try to uplift greater proportions of our fellow Singaporeans in making sure that they achieve these objectives. And this year, we announced the Majula package. This will benefit Singaporeans who are born on or after 1960, right up to 1973. Because this is that period where we just got our independence, 5 years before our independence, and then another 8 years after that. We were all coming out of, in a way, a bit of a backwaters in Asia. We didn't have necessarily the same runway, the same level of returns in terms of the CPF in those early years. So this Majula package, which comprises 3 core components, the Earn and Save bonus, the Retirement Saving bonus, and the MediSave bonus, is aimed at padding up the CPF savings for all of our fellow Singaporeans, particularly those in the lower income groups.
And there's also the Silver Support Package.
Yes. Of course, we enhanced the Silver Support Package, the Match Retirement Savings Package, and also we will be announcing new enhancements to the WIS, the Workfare Income Supplement Scheme as well.
Isn't that just great? The government just giving us more money for our retirement. I mean, I just love being Singaporean. I mean, you talked about MediSave, right? And I was just sharing this story with Puat earlier. So for those of you, well, most of you probably won't know, I just gave birth 5 weeks ago. And I'm so happy to be back on stage. Oh, thank you very much. It's my 3rd baby, by the way.
This is how, the number?
Huh?
The 3rd baby.
My 3rd baby.
Oh, you go for a 4th one.
Oh no, this was definitely last baby. Yeah, because when I saw Deputy Prime Minister Heng at another event before I gave birth, he was so happy for me, and when he found out that it was my 3rd, he was like, wow, number 3, very good, contribute to our nation. When he found out it was a boy, he was like, NS! And then clap, clap. Yeah, so definitely do my part for the nation. But the best thing about this was, at the hospital, so, and again, a touch point, I had no idea that MediSave was going to work so hard for me until the lady, charming nurse at the hospital said, Oh, by the way, you can deduct so and so amount from your maternity package. I was like, wow, and that was a sizable amount that they were reducing for my package. And then when I checked out, they were like, oh, also for the baby neonatology part, we are also going to deduct this amount from your package. I was like, where does it come from? Your Medisave? I was so proud to be Singaporean then, and I was like, should I consider a fourth baby?
You should.
Probably not.
Think
Yes.
about, no, we added the shared parental leave.
That's for next year.
Yeah.
And my husband and I literally waited there as Prime Minister Lawrence was giving a speech, thinking, what goodies will we get, right? But that's like April next year. It seems so far away.
So when you have a fourth one, both of you will qualify.
Yeah, lah, that is if, yes. But no, I think three is enough. I've done my part, right, for Singapore. But Medisave, yes, CPF. Okay, back to CPF announcements. There was also this one about, let's come back to the age, 55. Seems like a magic number because CPF has made an announcement that they'll close the special accounts for members approaching the age of 55. And this is going to happen in the second half of January next year. That generated quite a lot of interest. What's the rationale for doing so, and what are some of the positive outcomes the members can expect from that, Dr. Tan?
So I think all of you will agree with me. Long-term savings, FDs, you get a long-term interest rate. So what we're doing in closing the special account is to ensure that we right-side the monies. What we have actually swapped it into is that at 55, you have the option of now upping the savings amount, the quantum, into your retirement account by putting it into the ERS, the Enhanced Retirement Sum, which has been topped up to, we've expanded it up to 4 times of BRS. Today, it's 3 times BRS. So by January 2025, you can go up to 4 times BRS. So more than 99% of Singaporeans today will be able to put their monies in the enlarged ERS of up to 4 times that of BRS starting from next year. Now, the balance of the monies that you have, if you are really in the top 1% of the population, of course, you can leave it in ordinary account. You still get the 2.5% interest. But there are opportunities for you to buy T-bills, and generally, the savvy investors can actually also use the money to invest, whether it is in some of the blue chips on the approved CPF investment schemes. And generally, they are savvy enough. They know how to make those savvy investments.
Everyone has a different risk profile, right? And a kind of different investment savviness. And Minister, I wanted to also ask you about, let's zoom out, right? Take a look at the bigger picture and look at the state of financial and retirement planning in Singapore. So according to MoneySense's National Financial Capability Survey that was just done last year, the research showed that we Singaporeans, a majority of Singapore residents, actually exhibit very good money management behaviors. Yes. Now, how many of you think you're very good at managing your money? Hands up. That's why you're here today, right? To learn more about how you can I see a lot of people nodding. No, seriously, do you think you're good at managing your money? Don't shy, just put up your hand. I won't ask you to stand up. Okay, a very honest bunch here. Everyone is more humble, okay? Okay, the survey then shows that although we are good at managing our money, there is still a lot of room for us to start managing our money and finances and plan for retirement a lot earlier. Mintan, what kind of strategies do you think we can leverage on to encourage Singaporeans to be more proactive in planning for their finances earlier?
I think the key thing, Yvonne, is really knowledge. In this area, knowledge is power. As long as you understand the concept of investment and early investment, the concept of compounding, I think you have already sort of cleared half the battle. So, dealing with the education part, the knowledge part, there are a lot of resources available. So, going on to MoneySense, Today you have this Ready for Life festival. I think you can go out there, there's a supermarket you can try. But really, all of us should try to familiarize ourselves with the basic financial planning guidelines. Mainly to understand how to set aside savings, 3 to 6 months emergency savings, how to actually sort of think about planning for adequacy in terms of your retirement, setting aside for MediSave and so on. And today, CPF does all that for you in a very seamless manner, and everything is quite structured. Now, if you think about it today, I mean, my CPF bosses are here. Can you imagine, right? How many of you have kids that are around about below 25 years old? How many of?
Oh yeah, me, sorry.
Okay. Below 25.
Below 25, yes,
Yes.
me. I'm not below 25.
How
yes,
many of
but-
you? Yeah. How many of you have kids below 35? More. So, I mean, if you think about it, they are all building their careers, they are building their homes. If you actually think about, once you have, of course, achieved your own level of independence, topping up their special account. See, my CPF colleagues are looking at me, right? Topping up their CPF accounts, your kids, your loved ones' special account, and they get that 4% compounding. Think about how much they will get by the time they reach your age today. And that is actually a very good legacy you can leave behind for them. Thinking about, about the impact of compounding and in that special account. Now, of course, for the younger ones, the more digitally savvy, you can go on this, plan for CPF. There's a portal, you can go in there, you can check it out and see. And generally, for those of us who hit 55, like myself, right? I went down to the CPF office. You get this customer service managers and officers. They're so good. They will tell you what to do with your money, except that you take it out.
They're gatekeepers.
They will let you take it out, but they are very persuasive in asking you to keep it in. And they're excellent because they mean well for all of us. They don't get a commission, by the way, if you keep your money in the CPF itself. This is not a commercial operator. But generally, they have a heart to make sure that they take it. And I was more touched by the sincerity of the customer service manager who actually helped me to plan. So you have all these resources available. If I'm younger today, I think there are 3 things that I wish I knew earlier. One is, the acronym is TOR, not terms of reference. TOR stands for the time value of money. Right? $1 million today versus $1 million 30 years from now is very different. If you tell me today that $1 million today is the same $1 million in 30 years, everyone will say, why don't you just lend your money out? Everybody will borrow from you. Because there's an interest component to it. Which brings you to the second point. There's an opportunity cost to using that money. Opportunity cost is what is the next best alternative. So each time when you think about, and I know it's whatever I'm saying may be bad for the retail industry and so on. Each time you want to spend your money to buy something, right? Whether you want to go on a holiday, you want to spend on some luxury product, some fast-moving white good and so on, right? You can ask yourself, right? Is my money better off using it, having that utility at that particular point in time, buying a new car, or putting it away in a safe, sort of a fixed deposit, like your CPF, and allowing it to compound?
Mintan, sorry, I just interrupt you there. You sound like my husband. When he talks about the opportunity cost of, do I want to go for a holiday now, or should I park the money for something else? It's all about being disciplined, right? Financially disciplined also.
No, but if I were your husband, my perpetual answer is what I tell my kids too. You're always right, dear.
I wish my husband was here to listen to this, right? But this is a recording, so I will play it back for him. Yes, please carry on.
So the opportunity cost is the second core principle. And the third thing is, R stands for risk and reward. The higher the rewards you hope for, you must be prepared to take the antecedent and coincident risk that comes with it. So the higher the volatility, the higher your rewards, but the risk is also higher. And the last thing, there's no free lunch. If anything that's too good to be true, okay, it is definitely false. No investment wizard, right, can time the market, can outperform everyone else. We are normal, average people, right? The one thing that we have to learn, I saw a booth out there with all the different scams. I think maybe rule number one, go and learn, don't get scammed. So if you are getting about 4% from your special account, from your retirement accounts, and out there someone tells you that I can give you 8%, I can give you 16%, right? And assured guaranteed. I think please check again.
You know where to go after the opening forum is done to that site. The anti-scam booth. I know Association of Banks Singapore and a lot of partner banks have also launched a major campaign to prevent our Singaporeans or people in general from getting easily scammed. So Min Tan, you talked about these principles: opportunity cost, the time value of money, risk return reward. And I know there's a lot more youthful members in the audience today. We have a spillover in another room. Thanks for joining us, guys. They're listening to this too, and that's something that's really special about this year's edition of the Ready for Life Festival, because we added this youth segment. There is a live esports tournament that's happening right now, and a lot of opportunities for younger members to interact with industry professionals about the financial discussions and also networking sessions. So very different, and I'm sure the advice that you've just shared will be very useful. Was there something one of these financial principles that you kept close to your heart that really resonates with you?
I think for me, I've been quite lucky. Obviously, in an entire lifelong horizon for whether it is work, career, and investments, we've gone through different cycles. We got hit during the Asian financial crisis. The first recession we had in the late 80s, I was still a student. So, I mean, the best time to study is when there's a recession, right? There's no opportunity anyway, so you just study, right? Then, during the Asian financial crisis, the sort of it's very gloomy. Then after that, there was a global financial crisis about 10 years later in 2008. And then, of course, we had COVID just a couple of years ago. But if you think about it, if one of the key thing I took away from the last 30-odd years is diversification. You need to have a very diversified portfolio of whether it is your investments, whether it is the assets that you hold in. Then you can ride through all of these cycles. So if anything at all, if today you start all over again, I would encourage you have a very diversified, if possible, global portfolio.
That's really excellent advice, and we would encourage the audience to really check out Money Sense's Basic Financial Planning Guide, which has different rules of thumb for how you want to approach savings, investments, and insurance plans. And it has different packages or different guidelines for different people at different stages of life. Those who are just starting work, those who have dependents like myself, or those of you who are approaching retirement. Now, on that note of retirement, Min Tan, you've been talking about how retirement for you and your compatriots means something pretty different now, where you also have this passion to help others, pursue meaningful interests. I think we're very interested to know exactly what will you do when you leave this government job? And, what are your aspirations? I mean, what activity? Will you finally take that vacation, which you did not when you were 55 years old?
I don't know whether Yvonne is predicting that I won't make it for the next election.
No. I wouldn't dare. Oh my gosh, no.
But it's fine, like I said, as long as I try my best, I have no regrets.
Oops.
I like time for you to be able to still do creative things, nurturing things, and uplifting things. I want to have the luxury of being able to reflect back, being able to, in a way, proceed at a pace that allows for more one-on-one engaging. Those are the kind of things that I would enjoy in retirement. Today, right, it's usually from one event to the next, one meeting to the next, dealing with a lot of policy you think through, but that ability to interact, that face-to-face interaction, that looking into your eyes, trying to see how we can minister to you, not minister as in this minister, but really minister to you on a one-on-one, that deep connect is what I look forward to.
Wow, it does sound really very, very meaningful. And I hope you do have the time for that. I'm not talking about the election also. Okay. And because I have less than a minute on the clock, I just want to quickly throw you this last question. You had your kopi, so I know you can do this. CPF, Ready for Life. We've been talking about so many schemes, SAOA, ERS, MERS, and you just rattled them off, right? Like on the back of your hand. Do you have a 3-letter acronym for them today, as to how you would redefine retirement?
Live again.
LA. Oh, like la, okay la, live again. Okay, how about that, ladies and gentlemen? Let's give Dr. Tan See Leng a big round of applause. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us, Minister Tan. Thank you. I'd like to invite Minister Tan off stage. He's going to take a group photo with everyone in the audience. That's a really easy acronym to remember, LA. Don't forget to live again as you redefine your retirement. Okay, so Minta's going to stay there. Everyone just stay seated. And our photographer will come to the middle of the stage and grab that group photo. I really enjoyed that conversation. And thank you very much for that brilliant chat. Okay, one thumbs up for Ready for Life Festival 2024. We got the shot. Thank you very much. Thank you again, Dr. Tan. We'd like to give him a big round of applause because, like Dr. Tan said, he has yet another engagement to go to. We really appreciate your time today. Thank you very much, Min Tan. Thank you for sharing your prudent advice. Thank you. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Right after this is our next panel discussion. So as Min Tan has said, retirement is more than just pursuing hobbies, going on vacation, and it really is about living a fulfilling life that not only encompasses financial security, but one that looks at active aging and one that has strong social connections. For this panel discussion, we will have an opportunity for you to ask questions. So I would like to bring up the QR code right now. There it is. Scanning this QR code will bring you to our event platform titled Mentimeter. I will have the panel discussion first, and we'll leave some time for questions, and we'll try to get through as many questions as we can. Okay, so keep this QR code handy. We would love to hear from you. If you have other acronyms on how you want to redefine retirement, just submit it to. I'll be happy to review them. Okay, let's invite my next suite of distinguished speakers who will share more about how you can actively plan and lead a fulfilling retirement. So first up, we have Dr. Wong Fan. She is a senior consultant of geriatric medicine at the Khoo, Teck, Puat Hospital. She's also the deputy chairman of the Medical Board for Community Care and Population Health at Yishun Health. Let's welcome Dr. Wong, please. Come, Dr. Wong, have a seat next to me. And next up, we have Mr. So Chin Heng, who is the executive director for Hope Center. Come on up, Chin Heng. Mr. So is joined by Mrs. So, his ardent supporter, is in the crowd today. And last but not least, we have Jeslyn Sues, the Group Director of Policy, Statistics, and Research from CPF Board. So you know who to pose all your CPF related questions to. Welcome, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for staying with us for this next segment. I promise you it's going to be a really interesting discussion, okay? We're going to talk about what's more to life after retirement or during retirement. And I want to invite each of my speakers to give a brief introduction about themselves and the work that they do. So let me start with Dr. Wong. Like Dr. Wong, geriatric medicine. Now you chose to specialize in this field 30 years ago at a time when the number of Singaporeans aged 65 years old and above only constituted 6% of the population. That's like such a sunset industry. Could you tell us why you chose to specialize in geriatric medicine and what has changed with this very rapidly aging population that we have today?
Yeah, thanks, Yvonne, for reminding me it was 30 years ago. Right. So when I was young, I think it wasn't such a deliberate knowing that I wanted to do geriatric medicine. But at that point, truly, it was from a sense of gratitude. Yeah. To get to do medicine, honestly, the citizens of Singapore had paid their taxes, and the government reinvesting those taxes into education for people like me. So I owe where I am today to Singaporeans. Aww. And, geriatric medicine, every time I see an older person, I'm reminded they paid for my education. I cannot turn my back on them. Yeah. So that was really very salient to me at that point in time. But with time and reflection, okay, I knew I didn't want to do an organ-specific specialty. Yeah, I wanted to see the person as a whole. Yeah, and seniors are the ones who actually tell me the story that they come with, their whole life story. We cannot treat people out of context to where they came from, who they truly are. When we can truly tailor our care to who they are, then we are seeing personalized care that we need because we are so heterogeneous. We may be one Singapore, but we are very heterogeneous, and we treat everybody as a standard, repeat, copy, protocolized care. Nobody will be happy. So I think that is what truly draws me to geriatric medicine. Yeah, and third reason is, honestly, I couldn't sit and watch a young person die. It broke my heart. But for the older person, we expect to die. We know we're coming nearer to it as we age. And we prepare for it, so it's anticipated. And how we prepare for it is really going to determine how good a death we can actually have. So I would say it has given me back more returns rather than what I've given to it. It has given me a real learning of what I should anticipate as I walk this life. Yeah.
That is such a refreshing perspective as to how you want to. Yeah, I know. I see some people wanting to clap. Please feel free to do so. I mean, I am in awe of what you do, and truly this notion that we can look forward to more personalized care for the elderly, not just a homogenous care, is really something very positive. Because I also have aged parents, and I always wish I was more patient with how I deal with them. And my mom is one of those who also still likes to go to CPF, the physical branch, right, to withdraw money. But I totally hear what you say, and we will come back to Dr. Wong to talk more about how we can make the season of life a lot more enriching, right? And what are some of the ingredients that go into that? Thank you. Let's come to Heng next. I know you called time on also a 3-decade-long career in the public service just 3 years ago. Basically, he's not working anymore for 3 years, but he's kept himself very busy with a lot of other things. Yeah, he left the public service 3 years ago. So tell us, Heng, what have you been busy with?
Thanks, Yvonne. Hi, everybody. It's good to be here. Allow me to just start with a little story, little anecdote. So just this morning, as I wake up, I go out for my usual exercise. And when I get to the lift, I met my neighbor. This is a neighbor that just shifted in quite recently. So we get to chit-chat a bit. And then after a while, she asked me the question, oh, so are you retired? Now, whenever I get asked this question, something triggers in me. You know? Because it's, the word retirement is right here. But I'm so glad the minister just now mentioned, retirement means different things to different people. And that's exactly what triggered me. This word retirement is so vague and it means different things to different people. So my typical response when people ask me the question, I throw it back to them and say, what do you mean by retirement, right? So I try to think of different ways to describe to people what this phase of my life it means. So one of the ways I thought of, which is a joke and inevitably drew a lot of laughter, is I told the person, 3 years ago, I sacked my boss. Okay, you laugh, good, right? So I prefer that term, it's a joke I say. I prefer that term because it's more proactive, connoting that I do something, rather than, let's say, I wait passively until I reach a retirement age and then I just retire, right? So what did I do? 3 years ago, after I clocked time on my public service, 3 decades of public service, including about 18 years in the CPF board. For one, I went back to school. I enrolled in a master's program in counseling, and I just finished the program, so I've now started practicing as a professional counselor. Second, I run my church charity called Hope Center on a part-time basis as the executive director. So we run programs for children, for youths, and for seniors. And one of the programs I'm very excited about, which I hope to share more with you all later, is an intergenerational program where we bring the young people and the seniors together. Another thing I do was I do a bit of financial training, like with the Institute of Financial Literacy and other organizations. Because I believe in financial literacy, I think it's very important for us to be financially literate so that we can know how to manage our monies, and then with that, then we can lead the life that we want. Okay, I think that will do for now. I do a lot of other things, but I should give some airtime to Jeslyn.
That was a lot, right? I mean, so there's counseling, and then there's running the center at church, Hope Center, and then there's financial training. I was going to go, what else? Anything else? Okay, you tell us more later, but thank you, Heng. And for Jeslyn, also another very interesting story. She is from the CPF board, but what is interesting is that she joined the CPF as a fresh grad. Like, who does that, right? I mean, we always have this afterthought. You think CPF for retirement, because something that you think about like when you're older, even though the CPF's primary mission is to support Singaporeans to build a firm foundation for retirement. But Jeslyn, why did you do that? And what were some key takeaways that you've gained since then?
So I think just to correct the misconception, actually there are many people who join CPF board as their first job. Yeah. We're a very vibrant organization. So, if you're a plug for CPF board, if you're looking for a job. But okay, for myself, right from out of school, I was already sure that I wanted to join the public service because basically the mission of helping Singaporeans was something that resonated with me. But then why especially CPF board? I thought CPF board is quite special because it touches Singaporeans throughout their entire life, across all the different stages. Fun fact, if you didn't know, for every Singaporean baby who is born, they immediately get a CPF account created for them. And then we would actually credit in a MediSave grant for newborns, like a bit like an ang pao, to congratulate them. And
That's right. We got that. Yes. Yay, CPF.
Yes, Yvonne. Yeah. So I think, and then your account actually follows you throughout your life all the way, into your retirement years. So I think there are very few other agencies that can say that they touch Singaporeans throughout their entire life journey. Even personally for myself, I have benefited quite a bit from the CPF system as a citizen. So, I also gave birth to two children, and also tapped on my MediSave to... No, not Freudian sleep. I don't have a third one. Yeah, and also tapped on my CPF to pay for my housing when I purchased my first home. So I think in that sense, it's something that's very close to my heart. Yeah, thanks.
Sure, you don't want to join me in the family with 3 kids. Okay, let's see. Might change her mind later with all these great CPF and MediSave top-ups and bonuses. Okay, but what I'm hearing, this common theme from Dr. Wong, Heng, and Jeslyn is truly this passion to help others, right? To want to be in the public service. Heng was also from CPF board. So let me circle back to Dr. Wong. This is such an interesting sunrise industry that you're in almost. And I know that you and your team, they were conferred the United Nations Public Service Award in 2014 for the Aging in Place program, right? Which has now led to the Community of Care's framework. So, and that's what used at Yishun Health. I'm just curious to find out how some of these initiatives have transformed maybe the approaches to how we actively age and how we treat the community. Dr. Wong.
Yeah. Although at that time, I would say what we did was in response to what was happening in Singapore. It was a response in the right direction. What does healthcare do? Healthcare returns people to health and well-being after they have suffered either illness or injury, right? That is very different from health. Healthcare doesn't give us health. We give us health. And so our health is really in our own hands, right? And when we ask healthcare, when we ask healthcare, what do you contribute to people's health, right? There's very little, yeah. What contributes to, they will always ask the question from what we call the pathogenesis point of view, right? What made you sick, then I go and reverse it, I go and fix it, right? But there's the other question that we forget to ask. What makes us well and what keeps us well? That's a salutogenic approach. And that one, it's all within our control, not within healthcare. It's what we eat, how and whether we move, how much we move, whether we have friends, whether we have purpose in life. All these issues is like, where's the need for a doctor in this, right? So all these realizations cause us to change our model of care, right? From a doctor-centric to a person-centric. We are not doing work anymore because this is what a doctor does. We are doing work because this is what the patient or the person needs, right, to keep in good health. And then we shifted the mindset with that, right, from a very diagnostic process, like what's the matter with you, to what matters to you. That opens up a whole lot of possibilities in terms of people achieving their highest possible health. And then instead of concentrating our efforts in the hospital, we said, therefore, we are going to be community-based. And that was where the shift of all this work beyond the hospital walls, going into the communities to help people achieve the best that they can at what keeps them well, right? And they're doing it already. How do we accentuate that? So instead of teaching them what to eat, how to cook, we ask them to cook. And we work with them on what could improve the ingredients for a better health. For example, a lot of seniors don't eat enough protein. There have been a lot of literature in this, in Singapore, especially among the people who have fewer opportunities, men, people who live alone, they don't actually eat very well. They eat biscuits, drink Milo, put soy sauce in. Yeah. So when they don't cook in a group that they are familiar with, they tend to go to low-value food. Yeah. So when we are in the community, actually we know they can cook, but how can we change the way they see food and work towards higher value food, right? And so we do that in a way that doesn't tell them what to do, but shifts them to doing things that they would love to do. That's what I call stealth health. We are not in your face anymore. We are not advising you, but we are pulling out what you can do best and enhancing that. It's the same for movement, right? You're already walking. How can we get you to get one of HPB's step tracker and then challenge you to walk 10% more? Every 2 weeks, another 10% more, and that moves them. Yeah. And so I think that's where we need to work not just within health, in a very silo health, but we need to go out in the community, work with the people themselves, and with the partners like CPF Board, like Sports SG, like HPB, like CCs and RCs. There are so many partners out there already doing this work. How do we add value, medical value, health value, to what is already being done? And I think we are seeing a lot more positive outcomes at this, and I think people are feeling it a lot more. And we already have a lifespan of 84 years on average. That shows that we have been doing well for a long time. Yeah.
Absolutely. That is such an interesting and wonderful initiative, right? So instead of healthcare, like trying to treat what's wrong with you, this is really turning the onus and the responsibility back to the person to say, your health is in your hands, right? Stealth health. And instead of saying, what's the matter with you? Turning it around and saying, what matters to you? I mean, that is so person-centric, like you said, moving away from just doctor-centric to person-centric, and moving away from the hospital to the communities instead. A fantastic initiative. Thank you for that sharing, Dr. Wong. And Chin Heng, like you said, and the work that you do, the intergenerational bonds, is part of this program at the Hope Center that also touches the lives, not just of seniors, but youth too. So tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, before I talk about the intergenerational program we have at the Hope Center, I'd like to ask the audience a question. How many, by a show of hand, how many have watched this TED Talk, a 6-minute TED Talk called Greed by Angela Duckworth? It's a very popular talk, right? Any show of hand? A few hands, not many. I recommend you all gonna watch it. It's about passion and perseverance. I personally have watched it many times. But recently, I decided to read her book. She has also written a book, same title, called Greed. And there I find, well, she's better known for her coining the term greed, but she also talked about purpose. And her definition of purpose attracted me. It was the most explicit one that connects to this notion of helping people. And she said the purpose is about having the intention to contribute to the well-being of other people. So if you find that you have not been finding meaning in your life is not very purposeful, maybe you should be thinking about not just about yourself, but helping others. So with that as a context, I talk about this, I'm very excited about this intergenerational program that I have at my Hope Center, where we bring the young people and the older people together. I'm going to show you all a 40-second clip of what we do at Hope Center. But before that, I just want you to focus on the initial part especially, where you see a old woman in a wheelchair and trying to push a plastic ball in a game that she was playing. Okay, then I'll explain about that more.
Intergeneration programs are one of Hope Centre's unique programs. We bring together youths and seniors, fostering mutual respect and understanding across generations and cultures. These connections bridge the gaps between age, race, and background, building a stronger, united community. Our intergeneration programs are held quarterly, encouraging the young and old to mingle, share their stories, and serve one another. Seniors offer wisdom, while the younger generation introduces new perspectives and skills like technology.
Okay, so I'm very excited about this intergeneration program because I see changes in the young lives and the seniors as they participate in the program. For the young people, I see that they learn to become more respectful. They learn to take care of the seniors. They learn to be able to help those who are wheelchair bound, wheel them, and it's a very good values to inculcate. And then for the older person, I don't know if you catch that old woman I'm referring to, right? I see great determination. Initially, she was trying, first of all, she's wheelchair bound. So it's actually very difficult for her to be bending down and try to roll the ball. And then later on in the first attempt, she dropped the ball. The ball went out of her hand. And then some of the younger people helped her pass the ball back to her. And then she tried again. And she then succeeded in playing the game according to the rules of the game. So I find that typically when we get older, I'm referring to myself as well, then we become less adventurous. We are less inclined to try new things. When I ask the seniors in my center to try this new thing, they say, no. They prefer to stick to the try and tested, the comfortable, things that they're comfortable with. But when we put them with children, hey, I see a difference. They become more adventurous. There's this spirit in them to, be young again, be like the young one they are forced to interact with. So they see the young one playing, they also try. So I thought it was a very wonderful and then very good that I have a chance to help the young and the senior ones in our midst. Just now we are talking but in the sideline about some of the government efforts that is going on to bring the younger people and the older people together. And I think the Singapore government is also doing a very good work in that. Just another sharing on my other hat as a professional counselor. Recently I have experience of seeing a client. This is a person who come for counseling for gambling. And this is the second time he has come for counseling for gambling. So he had counseling a few years ago for gambling. It helped for a few years, but then he relapsed recently, and then he came for counseling again, and then I was his counselor. For confidentiality, I can't reveal too much about his case, but after about 3 or 4 sessions, as I listened to him and talk to him, then he made a statement which encouraged me very much. He's 35 years old, and then he said, "Oh, for the first time in my life, after 35 years of my life, I discovered this thing about myself, and this is the thing that led him to go to gambling." And I feel very good when I hear that. Wow, I've been able to be of help to one person, and I think it's great to be helping others. Okay, thanks.
Such a heartwarming sharing, and you've definitely exemplified, I think, the ethos of lifelong learning and, just helping others lead a more positive lifestyle, I would say. Thank you, Chin Heng. And in your position, to be in your position to help others, I think it is a privilege as well. And to do that, you must have also have a pretty sound financial base to begin with that allows you to pursue these meaningful interests at this stage of your life. So let me come to Jeslyn then on how can Singaporeans or members of CPF really utilize CPF to better bolster and solidify their retirement plan?
Okay, so I have 3 points to mention, and as I was sitting down there listening to Minister Tan talk, I was like, he's covered 2 of my points. But I think it's okay, because sometimes good things, hopefully good things, you hear more than once, and then it helps you sink in, and then you can better understand as well. So the first one that I wanted to mention was actually the importance of saving regularly and making top-ups into your CPF. I was not the charming young lady who told Minister to keep her money in the CPF account, but I mean, I take the same perspective that when you are able to set aside small sums, for example, regularly by making top-ups into your special and retirement account. Minister spoke a lot about the interest rate. We will pay a risk-free interest rate of at least 4%, and with the higher interest rates in the past few quarters, actually now the interest rate on the special and retirement account is 4.14%. And on top of that, you can also get tax relief if you are still working, so up to $8,000 if you top up to your own special or retirement account, and an additional $8,000 if you top up to your loved ones' retirement accounts as well. So that's something that definitely you should think about. And in fact, I think more Singaporeans are starting to appreciate the benefits of topping up. And annually now we attract around more than 4 billion worth of top-ups into the CPF system. So that's first on top-ups. The second one that I wanted to talk about was actually utilizing our CPF planners. It is something fairly new that we have launched on the CPF website. How do I get the slide up? Okay, so I just wanted to show you visually the CPF planners that Minister also briefly mentioned earlier. We have two CPF planners available. One is on the retirement income planner, and the other one is the home purchase planner. So for the retirement income planner, I think that would be something that is perhaps more relevant to more people. And it's actually a really quick 15-minute planner that walks you through a 3-step process. The first step is actually planning your goal of how much retirement income you hope to have. And I guess the good thing about it is that it asks you pretty intuitive questions about your lifestyle that you desire and hope to have. And then it will give you a benchmark, a proposed potential goal on how much income you will need in your retirement, factoring in inflation as well. You can also easily load in, using your SingPass, your own CPF balances and information, so that it can reduce some of the effort that you need in order to input many fields. And then after setting your goal, the second one, it helps you to review your finances and where you are in the stage of your goal. And then finally, in the third step, it will actually talk about active steps you could take to attain your goal, or if you have already reached it, for example. So over here, I'm not sure if the font is too small, but basically for this particular archetype or example, this person has a goal, but the current savings are not currently, helping him to fully on track. So it's actually recommending maybe if you make $100 top up a month, it will help to close the gap by how much and so on. So that's something that you can look at to do actively review and plan for your retirement. One of the good things about it is that you can actually save your inputs and the outcomes so that you can come back to it again at another point to review your plan, and it's something that you can look at, at various stages of your life. The other planner is a home purchase planner. So for those of you who are actually thinking of buying a home, it actually guides you to think about what is your current finances, how much housing loan you might need to purchase if you are planning to buy a home, and as well as if you purchase this home, what would be the impact on your own retirement. So I think that's the linkage where you have to think about the amounts that you spend on your home, and then $1 spent there might be $1 lesser that you have set aside in your piggy bank for your retirement income. So that actually helps you plan as well. And that planner is also pretty fast. It's a 10 minutes expected time to fill it in. So today, if you're here and you visit the booths outside, I think if you want to get a goodie bag, one of the stations you have to visit is to complete the planner. So I hope you find it useful for yourself later, as well as you try it at our booth outside at the event hall. So the third point that I wanted to mention is also tied to the home planner. I think for most of us here, purchasing a home is probably the most expensive thing that you're going to buy in your lifetime. So before we buy a home, the tip is to think very hard about your affordability, how much you want to actually spend on it, so that we can avoid finding ourselves in a situation where we are asset rich and cash poor. And on the flip side, if you are, more senior, and then maybe your children have already grown up, gotten married, purchased homes of their own, and you're thinking about how to unlock the value of your home that you have put so much of your savings in, some of the popular options that people use, for example, renting out a room, or you can tap on the government options as well. So if you right-size your property, you can actually get a silver housing bonus from the government in cash, up to $30,000 to help to supplement your retirement income, or tap on the lease buyback scheme. So the lease buyback scheme works where you sell a part of your HDB lease back to HDB, and then they will pay you a certain sum, and that can add to your retirement income as well. And the good thing about that is that actually you can continue to live in your own property and age in place, so you don't have to move to another place if you like your neighbors, you like your neighborhood, you're familiar with your surroundings. So those are the 3 points that I wanted to cover. Thanks.
Yvonne, can I add on to what something
Sure.
Jeslyn mentioned? So Jeslyn mentioned that so far CPF members have topped up about $4 billion, right, for retirement just this year. So I tell story, okay? So when I was with a CPF board, that's almost like 11 years ago. On one occasion, the Prime Minister asked for some statistics from CPF board. How much top-up has a CPF board received for retirement this year? So we compile the figure, then we give it to the Prime Minister, and then he used it. And the figure then was $500 million, 500 million. I then did just a fun thing with my staff. I asked them to each one of us to make a guess. So this was, I think, around 2012, 2013. Then I asked them to predict the next year, how much would the top-up be? Everyone come up with a figure, no prizes, including myself. I also come up with a figure. So the vast majority of my staff, they are pretty conservative. They will give like 510 million, 550 million, maybe 600, and so on. And then we will share our figure. My figure, if my memory serves me right, was 3 billion. I felt outlier then, because the rest is a bunch much lower. Then today I see that, I've been proven wrong. It's already 4 billion and still many months to count. And then there was one chap in my management team that come up with a figure, 9.9 billion. I laughed at that person that time, but I think he's probably maybe quite true, in a few years to come. So I think this reflects the confidence that the CPF members have of the CPF system. They see the value in putting in more money into the system for their own retirement. And actually, as I think about it, I think it's really, really amazing thing what has happened. We have the system which has one of the highest contribution rate in the world already. Mandatorily, you work, you have to contribute, right? 37% for most people. On top of that, people are still pouring in money voluntarily into the system. So I thought, wow, that's really a wonderful thing.
9.9 billion will be the number that we aspire to next. But thank you very much, Jeslyn, for your sharing as well. So get on the top-ups if you haven't already done so, and experiment with the CPF planner. There is a booth out there for you to do so. And when Jeslyn was talking about housing, literally, I saw no one blinked. Everyone was just paying attention, because we Singaporeans, we love our housing issue and our property, right? And also thank you for that sharing, Chin Heng. But coming back to Chin Heng, because you're a certified financial planner yourself, Jeslyn shared some tips on how we can really maximize our savings in the CPF. But what about individuals who have already done everything that Jeslyn has suggested? What are the ways can we grow our savings, Chin Heng?
Okay, so Jeslyn give 3 points. I also give 3 points. First point is very simple. Save, right? CPF help you to save, but over and above that, you need to save. So I have a favorite saying, if you don't save for your future, you have no future. Right? So everything starts from saving. And my wife is with me here today. I would say my wife and I, we benefited from a wise advice of a friend many, many years ago when we were just starting out, about to get married and have our first home and so on. And we met the person whom I regard as my mentor, and he gave us a simple advice. His advice was to live on the income of one. We were both working, so we're double income. But then he advised that, no, you just live on income of one, then you save up the other income. So that means we can save up quite a bit, assuming roughly our salary is the same. Then it's about the 50% savings rate. And that's one thing that really has suit us well. With that savings rate, we are able to have a head start in our financial planning, and then we're able to have a lot of choices and options in life. So the first point is you need to save, okay? The second point is what the minister mentioned about the compound interest. We should, I would say we must appreciate this most important concept about money, which is the power of compounding interest, something that Albert Einstein says the eighth wonder of the world. And the thing about the compound interest is that it's exponential. And if you understand exponential, it means it rises slowly initially, but over time, then it rises very sharply. And when you're in that stage where it rises very sharply, then wow, it's a very wonderful feeling. Your money is growing very much. The trouble is, this is my own theory, the trouble is I think we cannot appreciate the exponential growth in our mind. Most of us think linearly. We think in a straight line. And when we think linearly, we underestimate the power of what saving early, investing early, for a long haul can do to our finances. So if we can learn to appreciate compound interest and put it into practice, learn to invest in a long haul, then our financial picture should be much rosier.
And the last one.
My final point is, get the financial literacy. I think you're here, there's a good sign that you want to be financial literate. That's the best investment you can make, not that into so specific investment product, but learning about the money, learning about financial literacy. And that's one reason why I decided to go and take a lot of exams to be a certified financial planner. I never started the journey with the intention of becoming a financial planner. I never earned a single cent as a financial planner, but I think it paid rich dividends to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Chin Heng. So be disciplined about saving, appreciate the wonders of compounding interest, and get on it. Get with your financial knowledge, right? Upgrade yourself, know more, and do check out Money Sense's basic financial planning guide. There's just so much there and many, many relevant scenarios for you to learn from. Then I want to come back to Dr. Wong, because we've been talking so much about financial security for retirement, but the wellness aspect, right? It's no point being unhealthy and having money, because health truly is wealth, right? So let's talk about the wellness aspect. And I know that for the Asian Health too, they started this initiative called the Wellness Kampong back in 2016. So what is that all about, and what benefits have been reaped?
Yeah, I'm a very simple money person. The one thing I know to do is to save, so that was very good. The other thing I know to do is, if I don't know how to handle my money well, marry someone who can. Yeah.
That works too.
And,
very smart.
Yeah, and I would say that I did well there. So that leaves me then.
I hope my wife will say the same thing.
That leaves me then, right, to think about wealth in other aspects, right? Which is you can have a lot of money, but you know that it doesn't buy everything. Yeah, so the other aspects of wealth, really, health is one, and the other one more is your connections, your number of relationships. It is already proven in literature that if you have more connections, you are likely to live longer. And the effect, right, has been shown to be as good as quitting smoking. As good as that. The converse is true. If you lack social connections, it's as bad as smoking 15 cigarettes a day.
Go find some friends right now if you haven't already.
Yes. So if you smoke, also go find some friends.
Oh, yeah. That's true too. Smoke, also find friends.
Yeah,
Don't smoke.
correct.
Better find friends also.
Yes, that's right.
No. Smoke,
That's
better
a
find
good
friends.
investment, right? Yeah, right. Double investment. So, it doesn't just help you with your own just general life, right? It cuts down on heart disease. It cuts down on stroke. And by the way, having friends can help you cut smoking as well. They are
They are
actually
non-smoking
studies.
friends.
Yeah, there are studies that actually tell you that. So really hang out with people who you want to emulate, right? And that is the power of communities, right?
So there's actually evidence to show that strong social connections reduce the rate of heart disease and stroke.
Yes, there is.
Call your friends now. Oh wait, no, after this. Call your friends, just keep the connections warm, guys. Okay.
Yeah. And the thing is this, we actually save a lot of money, okay? But we actually don't understand truly how long we live. All of us will think, right, our current life expectancy is 84 on average, yeah? So somebody who's 81 will say, oh, die. In 3 years, I will die. That's not true. That is totally wrong, right? So at average, right, let's say on average, our age is 65 here on average. Let's say only, I'm sure there are a lot of young people who brought it down. We should be looking at life expectancy at age 65. So, right, I'm a woman. I'm age 65 in 2023. I expect to live another 22 years, which is like 65 plus 22 is 87, right? It's not 84 anymore. If I'm 75 years old in 2023, 10 years later, it's not 12 years. I actually can expect to live 14 years. So the longer you live, the more bonus years you get. So do not underestimate how long you will live, because you get to live longer and longer as you reach that age. So at age 80, you're looking at living another 10 years. So look at the life tables well and see where you are, rather than looking at the published one that says Singaporeans born in 2023 can expect to live 84 years, right? Because they're talking about children, like your child Elliot, right?
Yes.
He can expect to live 84 years. That's because he's 0 age now. When he's 65, actually he will get a different calculation altogether.
Exactly.
So what you actually save, it's going to be needed, yeah? So your connections that you save in going out into community is also going to save you, right?
You're teaching
It's
us
nice.
to invest in
Yeah.
our relationships, right?
Yeah, that's
Because
right.
if we're going to be living longer, we're going to need a stronger unit of friends, social connections, and it also means we need more money to see us through, no?
Not necessarily. Not all the things in life you need to pay for. Some things in life are free.
free,
There's no
yes.
free lunch.
Yes.
Just remember that. But some things in life you can get in exchange.
Such
Right.
as?
Friendship is not like you take people,
Yeah, true,
right?
true,
You
true.
also got to give, right?
Of course, yeah,
So it's an exchange, right? And I think that is where you will see, while the government is putting in a lot of safety net, right? Like befriending. Do you truly want to have a befriender who comes from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. every Tuesday to spend 1 hour with you? Very cheap, okay? not a lot of money? Or would you rather have a friend, not a B friend, an A friend, who at 3 a.m. if you call, right, will come over to your house?
That's right.
So there is a difference in the quality of relationships. Things you can buy, you can pay, but would you rather not have good relationships to start with? So think about what you value, what matters to you, and you will build the other part of your wealth, which will supplement your savings and your CPFs and all that. So I think that is where communities come in. You don't need to see a doctor for this. You don't need to pay anyone for this. Yeah, go call your friends. Go to your neighborhood. There is a lot there. There is a lot of infrastructure already built in Singapore for us to meet in groups in the community to support ourselves, to live meaningful lives. Yeah.
Absolutely. So wise, such prudent advice. I just met my best friend 2 days ago, which is great. Just saying, keeping the connections warm, yes. No, but since this is a CPF and a money sense event, truly, as you age and we're going to live longer, we have to make sure that at least we're financially adequate, right? Or the seniors. So I want to circle back to Jeslyn and tell us how, because CPF is from cradle to grave, like you said, how is CPF enhancing its schemes to support some of the seniors to make sure that some of their basic retirement needs will be met as they live longer?
So Dr. Wong spoke a lot about how all of us want to live longer, live better. I think the flip side to that is actually the financial security that you have. So the longer you live, will your savings be at risk of being outlived is something that the CPF board was also, and the MOM was also worried about. So in 2009, we actually launched the scheme called CPF Life. CPF Life actually stands for the Lifelong Income for the Elderly, LIFE. And the intent of the scheme is actually to be a form of insurance so that you don't have to worry about outliving your savings, even as you pursue wellness initiatives, keep yourself healthy, call your friends, and build your community. So people sometimes ask me, so it's CPF Life, does it give you good returns? What kind of returns does it give you? And my response will always be, treat CPF Life not as an investment plan and do not ask about its returns, but as an insurance. It's a protection for you as a risk of outliving your savings. Yeah. So just to share that CPF Life actually has 3 different types of plans that you can choose. The standard plan is the default plan. Most people are actually choose to be on this plan. It gives you level payouts in your retirement years. But we also have the CPF Life escalating plan. The payouts do start lower at the initial stages, but then it rises by 2% annually thereafter. So it helps to protect you a little bit from inflation as well. The other thing that the government has done in order to help people meet their basic retirement needs was to launch this scheme called the Match Retirement Savings Scheme, or MRSS, in 2021. So the concept of it is, Singaporeans like buy one, get one free, right? So this one is you top up $1 and the government will give you $1 free as a bonus to help you build up faster towards your savings goals. So for eligible low-income seniors who haven't met their basic retirement sums, they get a 1-for-1 match top-up, up to $600 currently, annually. But from 1st Jan next year, the scheme will be enhanced. So you can actually receive up to $2,000 of matched grants if you top up to yourself as well. So, of course, you can also top up to your loved ones. So maybe if your parents didn't accumulate very much in their CPF, you can top up to them and the government will similarly match the top up into your parents' account as well to help them build their savings faster. There's going to be a lifetime cap of $20,000. So if you qualify, it's really a $20,000 bonus that the government can give you if you top up to yourself or your loved ones. Just to share, I have my last slide showing how the community actually pitches in. So this is actually an initiative by Kreta Aya CCC, where they topped up to about 100 low-income seniors, each of them about $1,200. So this was the community actually coming in through donations to help as well. So this is something that we hope that we see more of, not only yourself topping up to yourself, maybe you can help your loved ones, maybe employers and the community can pitch in to support as well. Yeah, so that's all from me. Thanks.
Fantastic. So CPF Life, lifelong income for the elderly. You guys just love your acronyms. I hope you guys are keeping track of all the schemes that are available and taking notes. I know for your previous slide, a lot of hand phones went up to do screenshots, so you guys were paying attention. I'm going to move on to the Q&A now, and we received so many questions. So let me come to Jeslyn, because there's this one on MediShield and babies. Yes. Can parents buy MediShield Life for babies? Is there a minimum age to take up MediShield?
Okay, so MediShield Life is actually a universal healthcare insurance scheme for Singaporeans. So you are covered from birth. You don't have to actively buy it because the coverage will be automatically extended. And earlier I mentioned that there's a MediSave grant for newborns. So actually that grant that goes into the MediSave account for the baby will also start helping to pay. You can use it to pay towards the insurance premiums for MediShield Life. Or, I mean, if you don't want to drain your baby's MediSave account, you can also use yours as a payer as a parent to support as well. Yeah.
And let's just still stay on Jeslyn. Another question for her. Possible to top up the ERS, which is 4 times the basic retirement scheme, before reaching 55 years old?
So unfortunately, no. You can only top up to the ERS if you have reached 55 years old and from January next year, because it's going to be enhanced. Currently, it's still at 3 times of BRS. So if you are below 55, the limit is at the full retirement sum. So that's the 2 times of your basic retirement sum.
Thank you, Jeslyn. And for Heng, how do you measure if you're not over-insured or under-insured?
Wow, that's a big question. I think the Money Sense financial guide, there's some guideline on that. But I think you really need to look at insurance is a very big topic, and you need to look at the different types of insurance. The most important one will be the hospitalization insurance. The good thing in Singapore is that it's now universal. Every Singaporean is covered minimally by MediShield Life. So where hospitalization insurance is concerned, the most important thing is you must match the insurance you have with the class of ward that you intend to stay in. Should you get you need to go to a hospital. Then, of course, the life insurance is important. But again, there are many types of life insurance. So you must remember that you're paying money in premiums to be covered. So don't get carried the idea that the more insurance you have, the better it is. You're also paying a lot more. Then, of course, the long-term care insurance through CareShield Life or supplements you should consider. And, of course, the longevity insurance through CPF Life. I think these are the important types of insurance you need to have. The rest are, in a sense, optional. If you have money, you want to spend, you want to have that more peace of mind, go ahead. If not, then you want to use it for other purposes. And then for each type of insurance, then consider what is a good amount to be insured for.
Thank you, Heng. Yeah, well, if you do have spare money, do think about the opportunity cost of what you're going to be using it for, yes. A question for Dr. Wong. For seniors that are living with debilitating conditions like Parkinson's disease, what activities or strategies would you recommend to help maintain their quality of life?
Yeah, this is what I would call sometimes an unexpected Easter egg. Yeah, which we do have to anticipate, right? Some of us have family history, so we would look towards that as a possibility in our life. But for some of us, we don't expect this. But first thing is, if you have a debilitating illness, okay, there are some things you can't change. There is no point banging your head against the world, the fate, the whatever it is, to say, I want it changed. So the first one is knowing what you are up against and understanding more about it. And for that, ask questions. Ask your care team, Your care team, if you have a debilitating disease, right, would comprise usually doctor, nurse, social worker, therapist, dietitian. Ask any of them. Nowadays, healthcare is such that we are open to patients asking us questions, and we are encouraging people to ask questions. And we find that people are not so a bit shy of asking. So if you are, write your questions down and then just fit over the consultation table to the doctor and make sure he reads that so that he knows this is what matters to you, right? So for a person with rheumatoid arthritis, for us it's like, oh, what's the activity of disease? Is it in remission? Is it? And actually, all you want to know is, when am I going to need a wheelchair? Correct? We have different concerns. So, but if you don't bring up your concerns, we hardly answer your questions, right? So work with your care team to understand, and therefore, once you understand, you can plan and prepare for it, right? And then you can say, right, what it is you truly want and what it is you truly do not want. And that's, right, is planning how you're going to live your life all the way to the end. And I mean live all the way to the end. I'm not saying this is how you learn to die well. This is how you're going to learn to live all the way to the end. But you will also get a good death, which is something we cannot escape. But at least we can say we can achieve a place where we went home with our loved ones around us. We can plan for this. So debilitating illness is not something we can shirk, we can push away, but it is something that we can really have choice and control of to some extent. Yeah.
It brings us back to the first point that you made, right? Moving to more personalized healthcare where we have choice and control over our own health and our own lives. So thank you, Dr. Wong. And we're almost out of time. I want to thank you all for submitting so many questions. Perhaps you'll be able to find some of the answers on the CPF website. And I just want to give each of my speakers their final few words to the audience today. What's the one action you think they can take that would really make a dent in redefining their retirement? It could be an action, or maybe you have another acronym for us. So you cannot copy what Minister said, okay? Live again, because that's already taken. So let's start with Dr. Wong. You have an acronym, or do you have one final piece of advice?
Dang, I was going to copy Minister. But I would say this, diversify, but I don't mean diversify in your portfolio. I mean diversify your invest in your physical assets, right, which includes money, health, and relationships. That's your diversification portfolio that people tend to forget, so that you can have better choices and control when you need it.
So diversify your health, your wealth, and your relationships. That's so poignant. See, I was paying attention. Thank you, Dr. Wong. Heng?
I would say, get a life. Money is important. You need to learn how to manage money and manage money well. But at the end of the day, money is just a means to an end. And each of us have only one life, so better make your life count. Thank you.
So get a life and make sure it counts. Thanks, Heng. Jeslyn?
All right, so mine would be plan well and use the CPF planners.
Plan well and use CPF Planner. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Let's give them a big round of applause, please. I think we really enjoyed this conversation. I mean, from three of our speakers, it's very clear that from Dr. Wong, that good good retirement is not just about financial security, but active aging and strong social connections. And Heng showing us that we must start saving early so that we have the means to pursue meaningful interests and contribute to the community at different life stages. And Jeslyn, thank you for highlighting all the schemes that members can leverage from the CPF so that we can achieve a secure retirement. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us.